up, guys and gals, folks? Everybody hear me okay? What's up? Is that Kai or K down? What's up? I'm gonna say Kai. Awesome, awesome. I got some brand new strings here, so yeah, it might be a little wonky tuning going on. Ernest, I don't see any updates for Pod 500, Pod HD 500X coming. Thank you, Ernest. What's up, Steven? Thank you guys for joining in. We got a good looking crowd here, and I know why, because you guys are probably curious about the new HX1 effects pedal. Built-in, not a built-in audio interface for recording. It's not really intended for recording, so there is the HX1 Librarian app, which is like a desktop app to go through and select different presets and things like that. I'm probably not going to use that today. I'm just going to show y'all what I got going on here. So first of all, got my beautiful little HX1 set up here, and yes, the reverb you're hearing is coming from that. So essentially, any of you that didn't have a chance to tune in last week, I know I didn't, but I believe we took a first look at the HX1. So for those of you that don't already know, essentially you've got one pedal with 250 effects in it, and there's 128 presets that you can choose from. And it's really easy to choose those from the editor. And you've, just to make a long story short, you've got the HX family of effects in this pedal, and you can select one effect at a time. So it's essentially just like a single stomp pedal that can do anything. So right now I'm using it as a reverb pedal, and I kind of wanted to run it through. Exactly. Is that Theo or Theodore? Am I getting your name right there? But yeah, you've got one pedal with all these different, with 250 effects, and you can choose one at a time. I wanted to run this through an amp today, but there's kind of a lot of madness going on in here, as you may can tell from like the cameras and stuff behind me. So I just decided to use something much more convenient than a real amp, and that would be my Helix. So I'll show you what I've got going. Let's just hop over here to the editor. Hopefully that's big enough for everybody to see. And I just made a little demo patch in here to simulate, using it with an amp. So I just set up a tried and true, the US Deluxe Normal. A nice, I hate to use the word vanilla, but a nice general good sounding amp. And then I've got my speakers set up here. I'm using two mics. So I've got a 57 and a 121. And I did do a little bit of tweaking with the high and low cut on both mics, just to make it a little more guitaristic. And let's see. And then what I did was ran an effects loop into what I've got going here, and I'm running the HX1 essentially as an external pedal through Helix, the Helix's effects loop. And right now I've got it running after the amp because I'm using reverb. Guitar was in tune when I got it. What's up, Gabriel? Thank you. Hello to Colombia. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, that's just this luscious dynamic hall reverb, and I didn't do anything special to this reverb. I just pulled it up right out of the box, and there she is. Now, something cool I want to show you with our HX1 is just how easy it is, for those of you that don't already know, just how easy it is to go through and select your different effects on the pedal itself. So you'll notice I've got the effects knob right here, and this will scroll through whatever library you're in, or sub folder, I guess. There's dynamic plate, which is another one of my favorites. No, there's no amp simulation in the HX1. This is just the effects. Just effects. So you can kind of think of it as the HX effects, but just one pedal at a time. So, or one effect at a time. That's how it works. So you can think of it that way. So yeah, I can go over here to my effects folder and just scroll through. Obviously, you can see it's got all of the HX family effects that we're used to. Blitz, another one I really love. I can adjust like the decay right here. Let's say we want some. For effects that have more than 3 parameters to adjust, you just use your scroll left and right. I want to adjust the mix to a ridiculous amount. Of course, you've got all your other parameters. So, you know, there's several pages involved in the glitch reverb. Now, a cool way that you can do a more broad search for your effects, go back to your effects pedal and you just push in on it or press it as you're turning it, and now you'll get the effects carousel. Okay. And you can see all your different categories. You got distortion, dynamics, EQ, modulation, delay. And again, these effects like modulation and delay and reverb, you're going to want to have those, you know, after the amp or in your amp's effects loop, or in the amp's effects loops and definitely after your gain-based effects. So very easy, and you can see a little symbol there that represents whichever one you may be using. So here's delay. Got that good old simple delay in there, but you keep going, you'll see that they're all in there. Everything. Now, let's say we want to, and this is just something, I'm just having fun with this, so this is cool. If I want to use like a compressor or a boost or distortion or something, you're going to want to move your effects loop. So with the Helix, you can just do this. And now I can use gain-based effects and stuff, and they're going to hit the amp, from at the input, which is where you're traditionally going to want to route things. Now I can just, let's see, hop over here to the effects carousel once again. I want to use a compressor. And I don't have any effects in the chain otherwise. I've just got an amp, so I'm not saturating my sound with a whole bunch of effects or anything. I've just got the one effects loop, so we can just listen to this beautiful little HX1. And then once I'm inside this category, I can go through and just compression. Tony Camponovo, this is one of my favorite ones. Yes, Paul, only one effect can be used at a time. Unless you have two HX1s, which might be cool too. I like to, I would maybe pair this with something like a DL4 Mark II, or even the HX effects, and then you've just got so many different effects at your fingertips. But so many people are married to their delay and reverb pedals or distortion. Everybody's got like one or two pedals that they won't compromise on. So that's the intention of this product, to put it on the pedal board with your other pedals. But these are about the only effects that I use. I do have some traditional stomp pedals on like a old school pedal board that I have set up, but I don't really need it. I don't use it personally. So let's see, moving back here, let's check out what the distortions sound like. So again, you'll want to make sure you've got if you're using a Helix, I've moved on to effects that need to hit the front of the amp. So you'll notice I just pulled my effects loop over from where it was. It's just so easy to do on a Helix with the editor. Do it here. But that's weird when you put your compressor right there. So that's gonna make strange sounds. And then once again, check out our effects carousel. Now we're over into the world of distortion. So got the good old kinky booster. Set it to boost. That's how I like it. that sounds pretty good in this room anyway. I don't know if it's translating well for you guys, but that's real throaty and just sounds great. Nice pedal there. Now, bear in mind, I am using this the US Deluxe amp, so some things sound better with that than others. So you can see here's how I've got it set. I do have a little more bass and mid-range than treble, and the presence is up a bit just to give it a little more aggressive authority. But let's see what other. This deranged master sounds pretty good. I'll go to the humbucker position now. I hope that's not too loud. I got it cranked kind of loud in here. If that's too loud, you guys let me know. I'll turn that down. I turned it down a scotch. I'll turn it down another scotch, but I'm having too much fun in this room. So yeah, that's a great sounding distortion pedal. Whoa, I'm rocking so hard I'm hitting the camera. So the deranged master, the Minotaur doesn't sound as aggressive on this particular amp. Still sounds good though. I like it on the neck position with that single coil. But of course, this one's a classic one too for me, the Tima. But I would normally use the Tima with something else. I like to pair this one with the Minotaur. They sound really good together. Let's see. This one sounds really good just by itself, this OCD. Sounds pretty aggressive for a Fender amp. So let's see, let's maybe I don't know, let's explore some different amp sounds with this guy. You know, certain effects sound better with certain other effects. So I kind of want to try, how about this? Let's just be really heavy. How about we'll turn that off for now. So I'm just turning off the effects loop, just like it were a stomp pedal on my Helix, and that gets rid of all of that noise. So let's see. How about, I don't know. Try this. So now here's a super heavy sounding amp, and we'll go ahead and stick a 57 on there. So this is the German, one of the Bogner models. Maybe not my preferred type of sound, but I don't know. See how it sounds with this Horizon drive. So again, got the. Now I keep this on, and then I just turn the effects loop on and off. I don't have a camera over the Helix, but you can see the effects loop going on and off there. So. I'm not too crazy about that particular. I mean, it sounds like what it's supposed to be. It's just not. I'm just not digging it. Let's try this. Maybe throw a. So now I've got. Oops, sorry. I just changed it out for the other Bogner, the Uberschall, and then I've got the 4x12 Cali V30 cabinet going there. And then this Horizon drive. So, and then somebody said to add some delay. So, you know, I can add delay on my Helix, or I can just use this. So, since today I'm just trying to strictly use the HX1, I'll just pull the effects loop over after my amp. And then I'll go through here and I'll see what kind of delays we want to use. So, let's see. I don't know, maybe I can, you know, when it comes to delays, that's a slippery slope. Actually, let me go back to the original setup that I had going too, because I like a cleaner sound. So there's some spacey delays for you. course, as always, you've got the tap. I can tap, you know, here to set the time. And if you want to change the time to, you know, either like milliseconds or actually like a quarter note or, you know, a tap value, same as you would do on Helix. There you can see it when I tap. There's 450 milliseconds. There's quarter note. So the controls, it works the same. It's literally just like controlling a Helix, just one effect at a time. So I thought I saw a question somewhere that, I mean, snapshot is not really something, you know, I mean, there are presets on here, but it's just one effect. So as far as using snapshots, I guess if you were going to set up a snapshot in your Helix, you could set it up to either have the effects loop engaged or disengaged. So, you know, there's that. But other than that, I don't think you would have a need for like an actual snapshot on here, but that's just my opinion. So the flux, I see a question about the flux equals scene selection. No, that's not what the flux does. So I'll try to explain the flux. My expression pedal is kind of predisposed right now, connected to some other things. There's a lot of projects going on here, so I'll try to be quick because we're about out of time. But well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just tell you exactly. I'll read this and then I'll try to make it make sense. Let's see if I can find it here. As far as, you know, regarding the flux capacitor. So I'm going to tell you kind of a formal description, and then I'll try to break it down for you because I did a training video on this, and it's pretty wild. Okay, so when using an expression pedal, the minimum value is recalled when you move the pedal to the heel position, and the max at the toe position, allowing you to manually sweep the defined range of the feedback parameter in real time. So, okay, so that's using like just a expression pedal. Now, if you press and hold the tap flux switch to set it to flux mode, where the LED is lit white, the minimum and maximum feedback values are recalled at your toggles of the foot switch, and you can configure the specific time it takes to ramp between the two. So you're essentially kind of controlling sweep of your minimum and maximum values. And if I had an expression pedal connected, I would show you the display because it's really cool. You literally get a digital display of your ramp, but alas, I didn't connect my expression pedal to this today. You can also use it with a foot switch, like either a one switch foot switch or a two switch, either way, and you can set that to control the same kind of things like minimum and maximum values of different things. So I don't know if that makes sense to you about what the flux does, but that's what it does. It's not a what was the question? It was a scene selection. No, it literally controls the ramp of your minimum and maximum values in whatever effect you have saved there, and however you set it, you can change the minimum and maximum values, like how you use it with an expression pedal, and then flux feature just allows you to kind of control that ramp, like how radical that ramp is. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of complex. You kind of just have to do it to understand it. At least I do. It's pretty far out, but There's your Flux, the same button that would be your tap tempo. And if you want to access the tuner, just hold these two guys down. There you go. Got a tuner. And I swear I used it before I went live today, but I don't know. New strings, they do some crazy stuff. So there's pretty cut and dry, self-explanatory. Looks like a traditional tuner. I'm sorry about those bright lights making so much distortion on the screen there, but they're just really bright, and it's daytime, and just a lot of stuff set up in this room right now. So I do have a light on it, and that just helps. Kind of helps it from getting too fleshed out. But aren't they pretty though? So yeah, and then to exit the tuner, just hit one of these. Anytime you're in here adjusting parameters and doing crazy stuff and changing pages and stuff, if you get lost, just hit the home button, and it's going to take you back to this main display. So fear not. It's always easy to find your way home. And then again, I just want to give props to this cool little patch on Helix that made it so convenient. I just throw an effects loop in there, and I use my mouse, and I can just move it around wherever I want it for whatever effect I have. You know, if you were going to use something like a DL4 along with this, maybe along with your Helix, you would just maybe put the DL4, run a second effects loop in between here, or after your speaker if you wanted to, well, whichever one, but kind of between the amp and speaker would be probably ideal. And then if you wanted to use the HX1 for distortion or compression, you'd put another effects loop here where I have this. Similar to if you were going to use a traditional amplifier with an effects loop, you can, well, with something like this, if you were going to route this as a distortion pedal, you would just run this into the front of your amp, and then your DL4 or whatever delay or reverb you're using, you would route that into your effects loop. Something cool I did. Voice is quiet. Now you're telling me? I'm about done. You just now telling me my voice is quiet? Constantine. My voice is quiet. Hey, thanks for joining us anyway, man. Sorry my voice is too quiet. It may just be me. Maybe I'm just sleepy. But anyway, just as a side note, last week I did a gig with my Mesa Boogie Lone Star, like the real, like the actual tube amp. And I used my HX effects and put an effects loop after the overdrive pedals before my modulation and delay and reverb, and used the 4-cable method. So I was able to route it so that the modulation and the reverb and delay all went into the effects loop of my amp, and then the distortion pedals that I had set up, they hit the front of the amp, and it was all done in one pedal. Just, you know, they call it the 4-cable method because you need a couple of cables to route it into your effects loop of your amp, and then one to go into the input of your amp where your instrument will go, and then your instrument cable. So 4-cable method. So that's really cool. If you've never done something like that with a traditional amplifier and you have an HX effects, it's, I don't know, man. I was so impressed with just how good it sounded and how easy it was. And it was like, you know, I don't consider myself a technical genius, even though this is my job. So I do have to learn this stuff, but it's not something that I'm just born with. And it was so easy to get just this amazing, epic guitar tone from this rig last week using a tube amp with the HX effects and then utilizing the effects loops, all that good stuff. So that's a little plug for a different product. I know it's not on our menu today, but hey, it's all related. So there you have it, y'all. That's my little overview of the HX1. I hope you could get a good idea of the quality of these effects and how easy it is to use this thing. I'm pretty in love with it myself. I've got too many, you know, products that I'm in love with, and I can't use them all at the same time. Or I guess I could, but I don't even need that many at the same time. So, you know, but this stuff is just great. So, just all this technology. I love it. I love this guitar too. So thank all you guys for hanging out with me today. Let me just remind you all about our one-on-one learning sessions that we do. We kind of call them Skype lessons, but they don't have to be on Skype. I use Zoom and FaceTime a lot, but we do Skype too. So just want to remind you guys of that. If you want to do a one-on-one with myself or Nick Bell, my brother from another mother, you can sign up for those on our website. So please do, and thank you all for tuning in. And if you enjoy my guitar playing or my attempt to play guitar, go check out my music on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Deezer, everything. I got a new one in the works that should be out, I don't know, in a month or so, maybe shorter than that. So yeah, go give me a listen and give me a follow on Instagram. Thanks, my friends. Stick a fork in me. I am done. Ciao.